Hi guys and ghouls, so today I'm going to be doing another kind of comparison type video. Last month now I did try out two different comparison videos. I compared a dress from Wish with a dress from Killstar, which in fact actually was this dress that I'm wearing today, and then I also compared an AliExpress dress with another dress from Killstar. So I wanted to explore this kind of idea a little bit more and see what else I could find on there. Now, since making that video, typically there hasn't been that much on Wish. The stuff I kept finding tended to only be kind of like in an extra small, kind of small size. However, I have found quite a lot of stuff on AliExpress. So I did order this dress. It did take a really long time to get to me. I ordered this last month. The seller did not ship it for ages. I ended up having to send her a message because AliExpress said if the seller hadn't shipped it within like the next couple of days, they were just gonna refund me. But I really did want to try out this dress. So yeah, I did have to like message them quite a lot in order to get this dress. And the main reason why I wanted this dress is because I did have a few comments saying perhaps I could try out some items which had kind of different materials all in one piece. For example, like this dress is all just kind of the same material other than like the metal accents. However, the one I bought from Wish just was exactly the same without the metal. So I wanted to find a dress which maybe had a few different elements to it. Now, one of my favourite Killstar dresses, which I did do a review for not too long ago, I will leave it up in the corner for you, is called the Kounter Kulture skater dress, I think, and it retails at $39.99. Now, this dress is honestly one of my absolute favourites. I have to say, when it comes to Killstar dresses, this is one of those dresses where I bought it and I straight away fell in love with it and I just wear it as much as I possibly can. There are some dresses from Killstar which I get and I like, but I kind of save for occasion, or I only wear it on certain kind of outings and things, whereas I will literally wear this dress wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. I will wear this dress if it is washed and clean. So this is the dress, which I absolutely love. Now, one of the main features to it which I really like is the material. Now, it's such a hard kind of material to describe. This dress that I'm wearing now is definitely more of like a cotton, almost I guess a jersey material. However, the only way I can describe this dress is like a stretchy, like skinny jeans material. It's definitely not denim, don't get me wrong, but it's that kind of like fake denim, like stretchy denim that you would get for like a pair of skinny jeans, which means it is nice and thick. It is a very thick dress, as you can see. It just is very sturdy, but also there is a lot of stretch going on in there. I really like this dress because it is so structured. It comes in so nicely. The band really holds you in. Where it is that more sturdy material, it does just kind of suck in everything and hold it in place, which is nice. But also it does have that stretch, so it can be a little bit more form-fitting. I think one of the reasons why I like jersey kind of dresses is that they kind of stretch with your shape. Sometimes they're not kind of the most forgiving because of that, whereas this just seems kind of the best of both worlds, where there's lots of stretch but also it's very sturdy. So there's lots of kind of elements to this dress and sort of different ways which you can wear it. And when I saw that they were selling this exact dress on AliExpress, I thought it'd be a really interesting one to compare. So the top part of this dress is mesh, as you can see. It is quite a thin mesh. I definitely I'm not going to break it by poking my finger through it or anything, but it is a nice kind of thin, comfortable, you can't really tell it's on kind of mesh. It just sort of sits really nicely. It does have a very kind of small capped sleeve, which I really like, and the mesh is only at the top, so you have kind of a mesh panel at the back and a mesh panel at the top here, and then it is lined either side to stop it from fraying, and then you do have this nice cutout. Now, this is one of the reasons I wore this dress today, because it is the same cutout as this dress has, where you just have this kind of area showing. It is exactly the same. The only thing is the neckline does come down slightly less than this one. This is the hooded Spirit Walker dress, so it is kind of quite a high neckline, whereas this one has a nice kind of swoop to it. So the top part is mesh, and then you do have these two straps. Everything else other than this mesh is made out of this nice stretchy, almost like fake denim material. And it has the metal accents. So you've got these two little metal I think they're kind of like screws, kind of studs holding it together. Then you have this kind of little square connector, which is full metal. I have to say this metal does feel like a really nice metal. You can usually tell if you like touch a metal how nice of a quality it is. I kind of go a lot by temperature, so I find like metal that's a nice quality is normally quite cold to touch, whereas when it's more of kind of like a plasticky metal, sometimes it kind of feels almost room temperature, but this is very cold to touch. So I have to say this is a really nice metal. Since I made my previous review as well, I have put this in and out the wash probably about 50 times now, and it's held up so nicely. I do take the straps off when I put it through the wash, although last time I didn't, and they did go a little bit kind of wrinkly, so they may need a bit of an iron. I don't actually iron my clothes, but yeah, they may need a little bit of an iron just to kind of straighten them out, but usually I take the straps off. But other than that, as you can see, it's held up so nice in the wash, just a regular wash. Throw it in with all the rest of the blacks. I don't do anything special with it. These straps come down into almost like, is this like a racer back kind of thing? You've got the little studs again with a little triangle connected this time, which I really like. And now these straps, although they kind of are separate from the mesh, they are sewn at the top, so you can't actually remove them in any way. Some people may not like this kind of element, but to me it just means it's like super easy to throw on, and you don't have to worry about the straps like moving or like falling down during the day. They're just always kind of in the right place. So the straps come across the shoulders down to the middle to this triangle, and then they go all the way down the back in this kind of long back strap is what I guess you'd call it. Now this is completely sewn onto the fabric, there is no removing it, but it is just there to kind of create the illusion of a strap. And then right at the base of your back it comes to another one of these triangles, and then that's where the straps come off to meet at the front. So these straps do come round, and on the front we have the matching kind of squares with the top squares here, and the straps do meet onto these and kind of come around on the side, so you have these sort of like side straps. Definitely there is like zero function to these straps. It is just like a fully decorational kind of aspect, but I really like it. I think for someone kind of my shape, it kind of accentuates my hips a little bit, which I really like. And definitely feel like for someone with a slighter build, if you are looking to kind of accentuate your hips and give you a slightly more kind of nipped in waist, then I feel like this works really well. So the thing with these straps is that they are popper straps, so you can pop them off. There is just like a little popper on the end part which just pops open and shut, and then we have a little buckle. It has 3 settings. Honestly, it doesn't really make much difference whichever setting you have it on, so I always have mine on the middle setting, and then you can just, as I said, add these or take them away. Again, there's a little popper at the back as well, so if you did want to, you could completely remove the straps and have it just kind of looking like this, maybe adding your own chain or something, or as I said, you can keep the strap on. So that's kind of the main kind of functioning bit of the dress. It does also have these really big belt loops, and this was the reason I bought this dress, because I have been super into belts. I actually have bought my favourite belt here to show you. Killstar do some of their own belts, but I really like this one. It is by the company Low Life. It was bought many moons ago by Mike for himself, but I adopted it, and I love this belt. It goes super nicely around the kind of middle of this dress. Now I tend to only wear this dress if I'm wearing this belt. I have worn it out a couple of times for like dinner without the belt if I was having a very big dinner, but yeah, I feel like the belt just finishes off completely. So I'm just gonna reattach these straps on. As you can see, it's super easy just to take them on and off, whether it be because you're washing it, like I said, or if you just want it with a completely different look. I think it does kind of dress it down a little bit and make it a little bit more corporate, I guess, if you do take the straps off, but then the straps do give it a nice kind of added bit of jazz. So that's kind of all the main elements of the dress. There is no zip on this dress at all. It is a fully pull over the head dress. I don't think you could kind of step into it. I always pull it over my head, and it fits fine. As I said, the material is nice and stretchy, so it fits over me absolutely perfectly. The skirt itself, as I said, is super structured. Actually, I'm going to hold it from the middle so I can show you. It is a very large like circle skirt, so there's no like pleats in it at all. It just keeps going. There's so much material. I do have a few of their their dresses in this material that do have pleats, but this one kind of has natural pleats, and again I think it really helps to accentuate your hips. But I do really like kind of the cut of it. The length as well is really nice. It comes just above my knee. It means that I can wear this dress very easily without leggings if I did want to. If I wanted to wear like fishnets and things, I wouldn't be worried about flashing anyone. So it's just a super nice length. It's not kind of too long, but it's not too short either. Also, because the material is quite weighty as well, you never kind of get the whoo gust of wind blowing it up. So yeah, I absolutely love this dress. As I said, I will leave a full review down below in case you want to check out kind of all the features of it in slightly more detail, but I have to say this is probably one of the best dresses I have ever bought. I did actually get £10 off this dress because I purchased a skirt from Killstar which didn't fit me, and the whole kind of return process was a bit of a faff, but they ended up saying I could just literally exchange like the skirt for this dress. So I did actually pay a lot less for this dress than I would have, but actually when I consider the full price of it, I definitely feel like it would be worth that price just because the quality is so nice. It washes so well. As you can see, it stayed very nice and black as well. I don't have any complaints. I wouldn't change a single thing about this dress. I have to say, out of my like 1,045,000 dresses I own from Killstar, this is definitely one of my top dresses. So, as you can imagine, I was very excited when I found out that they had an AliExpress version. So, as you can see, first impressions, they do look relatively similar. So, this is the AliExpress version of the dress. I have to say, probably on camera, like front, like first impression, like viewing it for the first time, it does look relatively similar. It still has the little straps that go around, and everything seems to be relatively the same. However, on AliExpress this is no longer called the Kulture Skater dress. This dress is now called the 2019 New Dark Style Mesh Patchwork Bust Hollow Out Punk Dress Backless Ribbons A-Line Rivet Mini Outfits Party Dress. Now, this dress was only available in a size small to large. Now, I usually, and so far, have been buying all my AliExpress and Wish clothes in a size extra large. So this was a size down from what I was hoping to get, which I have to say is very prominent when I am trying it on. And according to AliExpress, this dress was originally £21, but with my discounts I got it for £13.58. So I have to say this is still on the more pricey side for AliExpress. A lot of their dresses are around £8, so the fact this one was nearly £14, I was a bit hesitant, but I just had to give it a go. Now I have to say, like honestly, hand on heart, this dress is a lot nicer than the ones which I usually get from AliExpress, but there are some features of it which just make it completely unwearable. So let's start with the dress itself. So the top has a very similar mesh. I have to say this mesh is also a really nice quality. I am poking my finger as hard as I can through and it is not breaking at all. So as you can see, it is a super nice quality. Now the first thing about this mesh is, unlike the Killstar one, they kind of lined around their mesh with a kind of cottony material just to kind of finish it off, whereas on the AliExpress one they have just folded the mesh round. So if those stitches come undone, which I have to say they're not looking too amazing, you would end up with just like a rough edge of mesh. But I can see what they've done, and they've definitely kind of tried to finish it off. So the mesh, I have to say, is a good quality. Now let's go down to the material itself. The material itself is, as you can see, super stretchy, much like the other one. The difference is it is a lot thinner and it's a lot silkier, I'd have to say. Now it doesn't have that shine. You know, some of the cheaper materials which you get from AliExpress and Wish have this awful shine to them, but this doesn't seem to have that shine. It seems to be a nice kind of muted black. As for colour as well, I mean, I do have very bright lights, but in person I'd have to say, like, the Killstar one is only ever so slightly darker, but I'd still say the AliExpress one is a good kind of shade of black, as far as shadow blacks go. The only thing is kind of the feel of this material. It is a slightly thicker material, as you can see. It's not see-through or anything, but it's kind of the really synthetic, like silky feel to it that just kind of feels a bit cheap. Saying that though, if you literally couldn't afford the Killstar one and you were buying this dress, I don't think you would tell the difference. I don't think you would particularly hate this material. I think it's just because I have like both next to me and I can touch them and feel the difference. This dress though, however, is definitely a more like silky, thin, definitely not cotton, but kind of the way that cotton flows kind of dress. It's definitely a lot thinner, whereas the Killstar one is a lot thicker and a lot more structured. Now, the dress then does have the cutout. The cutout is slightly smaller, but they still have got that kind of concept going on. On the front, they do have the same little squares. Again, they have used metal for this, but it is a very plasticky metal. Going back to what I was saying earlier about touching metal, this metal just kind of feels relatively room temperature, so I'm not sure how well, to be honest, this metal would hold up in the wash. I feel like it potentially would be the kind of metal where the metal would start to scrape off and you'd end up with plastic, but yeah, good attempt, I have to say. We then do have our two little spots here. These are just regular studs. They're actually not holding anything together. With the Killstar dress, the two kind of studs here are like holding the kind of strap loop down, whereas this is purely decorational. But when holding them side to side, it does kind of give the same sort of an illusion. Now the strap itself is sewn on exactly the same as the Killstar one, so it is kind of sewn on to the top part here, which is really nice. It means that's not going to be moving at all. And then we come down to the same shape on the back with our triangle and again the little studs. Now I have to say, when looking at this triangle with the studs, you can kind of tell the difference. They've used really large studs on the AliExpress dress compared to the Killstar one, and it just looks a little bit messy around here compared to the studs on the Killstar one. However, I have to say they have got it relatively accurate. Now the main difference is that this little strap is not attached at all to your back. So when putting this dress on, it is a little bit more of a faff. I end up kind of getting my arm like stuck through this strap. But what you could do, of course, is just sew it down yourself. But it's just something to note that this is not attached. Now we come down to the main part of the dress. It does have a very similar structure to it. The only main difference is just the material is slightly thinner and therefore is not as forgiving on lumps and bumps. We come down to the belt loops, which are nice and big like the original dress. So I'm just going to do the little belt test, and as you can see, my belt fits through there absolutely fine. If anything, I would say that these belt loops are very slightly bigger than the original dress. Then we come down to the front, and again it does have the two little studs which are quite similar to the original and our little square kind of connector, and then we have the straps. Now the main difference with these straps is they are not removable. This is just again another stud. There is no way of popping this off. They have put like a bigger stud here, I guess, because in the picture they were copying, they could see the kind of big stud on this dress, but they didn't realize that actually it was a popper. But I guess if you are looking for this dress to wear like in its entirety, that wouldn't really be an issue, but it does give you slightly less options. It arrived looking like this. At first I didn't think it had any straps, but then I realized that the straps were coming from the back. I have to say, like, all of the metal work on here, they have tried really hard to kind of recreate it, but everything's just a little bit smaller. Like, this triangle just feels very busy and it just is really small. But if you bring it round, you can see it does have the buckle. Now this is what the buckle looks like. As you can see, it is a very cheap buckle. For fairness, I will also undo my Killstar one to show you. So this is the two buckles up against each other. You can see they have actually pretty much got nearly the same size. The Killstar one is a lot colder. It feels like a lot nicer metal, whereas this one does feel a bit more plasticky, and you can kind of tell the quality when kind of comparing the back of them. Now the Killstar one does have the kind of like spike of the buckle sort of sticking out and ready to go, whereas This one is a bit kind of messy. They've put like a loop, I guess, for the spike to go through, but the spike's a bit of like a free roamer. So I'm gonna see if I can just like thread this through. I guess like the aim, there you go, is to get it through the circle. So this is how it looks. It definitely doesn't quite have the same function to it, but I'm hoping once we put it on there it'll be okay. I have tried this dress on, but I haven't actually clipped these all together yet. So let's have a go. So I'm going to put it through here. I'll go for the middle setting because that's the one that I would usually go for with my Killstar one, and thread it back through. So it does function. It's a little bit kind of messy up in there because you have this metal circle it's going through, but also the other metal circle. So if you look at the back, you can see that they're kind of clinking together, and it makes it quite hard, but that feels like it's on there. It doesn't seem to be opening up or anything, so that does function well. It's just a bit messy, I have to say. I feel like they made this separately and just kind of assumed that they'd go together. Well, she says that they go together nicely, and then I'm just trying to do the other buckle, and I've been fiddling for the past 2 minutes trying to get this thing to attach itself. It's just because of that annoying like circle they've put on the inside one. I keep kind of losing the buckle spike. So I put them both on the middle setting, so now when I hold up this dress it should have, yep, they're pretty much the same sort of look as the Killstar one. I have to say, holding up this Killstar one is definitely giving me a little bit of an arm ache because it is a lot heavier, but this is kind of how the Killstar one looks on the side, and then the AliExpress one. So I have to say, like, by sight they definitely don't look too different. I try and take like the least bias view when it comes to this, and I have to say this AliExpress one is definitely a really nice knockoff version, if that makes sense. I'd say that if you were looking for this dress but you weren't too like sure about paying the whole price, this would be a nice alternative. But just the main thing, like the main difference, is just the material. It's just so thin compared to like the thicker material, which to me is one of like the main selling points of this dress, is just this really nice thick, as I said, almost jean-like material. But as for the skirt, you know, it's cut exactly the same. It's a big circle skirt. It does kind of have a few more kind of pleaty parts to it just because it is just that much thinner. Now, my main reasons why I cannot wear this AliExpress dress is because the sizing is ridiculous. So I am a size large when it comes to Killstar. I know some people find that Killstar clothing can be a bit hit and miss with sizing, but I have consistently just always been a size large in Killstar, and I am around a UK 14 like in dress size. With AliExpress, as I said, I've been buying like extra large, but this dress went up to a large, and when I read the little description it kind of seemed like the kind of measurements would fit me fine, so I thought I'd go for it, especially as like I was hoping this material would be stretchy, which it is. Now when it arrived I could see that it is visibly a lot smaller, but the material is thin and stretchy, so I was hoping it would still fit me okay. Now the difference with this one is it does have a zip down the side, so I tried to put this over my head and it just all got stuck like around my shoulders. Like I was there just like this with like the whole dress just like stuck above my bust. So I was like, great, I can't even get this dress on to show you guys. And then I realised it came with a handy dandy little zip down the side. Now this zip seems like a nice quality. It works after all, and it is a very large zip. As you can see, it goes pretty much all the way down to the hip. So you can zip this open, which I actually really like this feature, and I'm not sure why Killstar didn't put a zip on their one, although it fits me fine and I can pull it over my head like with no issue at all. I still do think it would be quite nice if it did have a zip, because it does make it a bit easier to put on. Saying that though, I have worked out why they haven't put a zip on, and it's because of this mesh. Now the difference with kind of the Killstar one is that this mesh is like sewn to the sides here, and it kind of creates a solid loop as such, whereas with this one, when you open the zip, the mesh just kind of is free to do whatever it wants. It just kind of stretches out like this, and the mesh ends up like riding up my shoulder. Now I have to put this partly down to the fact I can't zip this dress the whole way up. I kind of get to my waist, which goes up there, but with my bust it's just slightly too far for it to stretch. And as a reference, I am a 38F for my bust. So I definitely say for the larger topped ladies, the zip may not quite cater for our needs. But other than that, it does do up other than my bust. So when I'm showing you the clips in a minute of me trying them on, please do kind of take that into consideration. And you will notice how where this is a very thin mesh, it just kind of ends up looking a bit like this. So you have one nice sleeve and one scrunched up sleeve. So I'm a bit torn with this zip. I think the zip is super helpful, but also it just kind of ruins the mesh part at the top. So I guess the only way to avoid that would then be having a separate mesh top, and having them as two separate pieces, and then that may get a bit of faff because then the back would have to be different. So yeah, I'm a bit like 50-50 with the zip, but it's there. If you're buying the AliExpress one, there is a zip there. The other thing about this dress is it is incredibly short. I am going to have to be wearing my leggings when I'm filming this, because this dress comes to like the bottom of my bum line. Like, it is insanely short, and I'm not really, there's no getting around it. The only thing I can do with that is just wear a long cardigan, but it does make this dress unwearable for me. I cannot wear things which are super short. If you are blessed with extreme leg confidence, then perhaps you would be able to rock this, maybe wearing shorts underneath, or if you don't mind flashing people. But for me, I cannot wear this dress because of how short it is and because it can't quite fit my bust. So I will now insert some clips of how this AliExpress dress looks up against the Killstar version, so you can see exactly how these different materials look and fit. As for feel, I know I can't really, you can't feel it through the camera, but I have to say this one is a very kind of staticky, swimming costume-y, like silky feeling, whereas as I said, the only way I could describe the Killstar one is like an almost stretchy jean, kind of thin denim material. you go, there is my comparison of these two dresses, one which I bought from AliExpress and one which I got from Killstar. Now I have to say, overall, taking a non-biased look, I feel like the Killstar one is a very good price for the quality you're buying. I know you are kind of effectively getting the same dress, but the quality of the Killstar one, all the little details of it, just the kind of finishing touches, the kind of thicker material, the sturdiness of it, all of that just makes it worth it. And I have to say, it is one of their kind of more cheaper dresses. I have definitely bought a lot more expensive dresses from Killstar, and this one, as I said, is one of my absolute favourites. Saying that though, this AliExpress dress definitely isn't bad. I would recommend this dress if you are looking for a cheaper version. Maybe if you are a baby bat and you're just trying out the style, you don't quite want to take the jump to buy the Killstar one, or you're waiting for the sale, this would be a super good alternative, I think. I definitely would size up a bit more than usual. I think I would have benefited maybe from like a 3XL for this dress, which is bigger than I usually would buy from AliExpress. It does have some stretch in it. So yeah, I guess take that gamble if you want. I've just noticed as well, which is super annoying, that let me take it off the hanger to show you. As I was saying, this stitching isn't looking too good, and already the stitching is starting to come undone. So you can see like this part here is still kind of stitched together, and then as we go along, this part is just slowly unraveling, which just isn't going to be a good look at all once this fully unravels and you kind of have that kind of rough mesh edge. So before I noticed that, I would have said this is probably definitely worth the money. I'm not too sure now, to be honest. I feel like perhaps it's a good like one night dress, but there are going to be little things that start to go wrong. As you can see, I've only worn this dress once and it's already starting to come apart a little bit. There are a few sizing issues, but if you are a smaller girl, then perhaps this would fit you absolutely fine. I'm sure that some people would fit into this like a dream. The material is thinner, so perhaps a good alternative if you are looking for a thinner material compared to this kind of thicker jean, like sturdy material. But other than that, all the features are pretty good. I mean, these are a bit complicated. I mean, the straps are a little bit complicated to sort out to begin with, but honestly, the fact you can't like unpopper these straps anyway, I would leave these done up all the time, in the wash, out the wash kind of thing. Would I recommend this AliExpress dress? Yes. If you are looking for a cheaper version of this dress, if you want to try out the style, if you just can't afford the Killstar one, I definitely would recommend this dress. I will leave the link down below. It took a hell of a long time to ship, but once it was shipped, it only took 2 weeks to get here to England, so that's good. There are a few little differences to this dress, but I think it is a relatively good dupe, to be honest. Saying that though, if you are kind of interested in the actual legitimate version of the Killstar one, I have to say this one ticks every single box. I have worn this in and out kind of continuously, and I'm looking and there's absolute like no issues at all going on with this mesh, and that's because they have kind of lined it. So there's no frays, there's no pulls, there's nothing I don't love about this dress. And if you are weighing up the two, if you are kind of thinking you would like this dress but you can't decide which one to go for, my hand on heart would say just literally buy the Killstar one, buy the original one. I never kind of condone stealing designs as such, which this dress is a literal steal of the design, and you can tell the difference. You can tell that this one is a lot nicer, and I can pretty much bet if you do buy this dress you will fall completely head over heels in love with it. If you guys do enjoy these videos, or you have any specific dresses or clothing items from AliExpress or Wish that you would like me to order in and talk about and review, please do leave them down below or send me a message. I do always leave all my information down in the description, where you can find me on Facebook and where you can find me on Instagram, and also if you'd like to email me as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If it's sunny where you are, I hope you're enjoying the shade, and I will see you next time. Bye!